Alright, today we're going to simplify by rewriting square root expressions and use properties of square roots. And you're going to use the product property, which says if you're multiplying multiple bases, then you can separate those bases into different square roots. So as you see here, we got 32 equals the square root of 16 times 32, which is equal to the square root of 16 times the square root of 2. We know the square root of 16 is 4, so we could rewrite that as 4 square roots of 2. Sometimes you can't think of a square root, so it might be easier if we break it down and write, let's do 75. Break down and make a factor tree of 75. I know 75 is 25 times 3. And I can break that down further by saying 25 is 5 times 5. And bring down my 3. If I rewrite that again, that's going to give me, this is the same thing as 5 squared times 3. And I can use the product rule to take the square root of both of those. So I would say the square root of 5 squared times the square root of 3. Now I can rewrite this one to be 5 to the 1 or 2 over 2 power, which is the same thing as 5, and then leave that the square root of 3. So that's how we're going to simplify those. We'll do some more of those today after the video. Here's another example. We have the cube root of 54. So we can break that down again. Let's say we break down 54 to be 6 times 9. And then I want to break down both of those a little further. 6 is 3 times 2. And 9 breaks down to be 3 times 3. So I can rewrite that as 3 to the 3rd power times 2. And I need to keep my radicals, so I would say the 3rd root of 3 to the 3rd power and the 3rd root of 2. Well, I can rewrite these to be the 3 to the 3 over 3 power. I don't no sense in breaking that one down any further because it does, you know, it's not going to reduce. 3 over 3 is 1. So simplified would be 3 to the 3rd root of 2. So that's just another example of using the product rule and what we know about exponents. Okay, here's an example of simplifying a 4th root problem. 48 is the same thing as 6 times 8. And then if I can break down 6, and I can break down 8 also. So 6 is 3 times 2. And 8 is 2 times 4. And I can break down 4 even further. 4 breaks down to be 2 times 2. Bring down my 2. Bring my second 2. And my 3. So if I rewrite this, that gives me 2 to the 4th power times 3. And remember, I'm taking the 4th root of this, so I'll add my radical. 4th root of 2 to the 4th. And the 4th root of 3. Now I can write that in rational exponent form. So 2 to the 4 over 4. And no sense in writing the other one, so I'll just write 4th root of 3. Those 4's cancel, so my answer would be 2 times the 4th root of 3. Now here's a quotient property when we want to rewrite square root expressions. It says you can break up a quotient into 2 separate radicals also. So the square root of a over b is the same thing as the square root of a over the square root of b. And sometimes breaking them up makes it a little bit more simple to do. So if I want to find the square root of 9 over 25, I can break that up to be the square root of 9 over the square root of 25, which I know the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 25 is over the square root of 25 is 5. So that simplifies to be 3 over 5. So let's just pick a couple of these to work. Let's break up the square root of 4 over 9 to be the square root of 4 over the square root of 9. And you should know that the square root of 4 is 2. And the square root of 9 is 3. So the square root of 4 over 9 simplifies to be 2/3. Here's another example. Let's break this down using the quotient property. The square root of 7 over 64 is the same thing as the square root of 7 over the square root of 64. I don't know the square root of 7, nor can it be simplified. So let's just leave it the square root of 7. And the square root of 64 is also equal to 8. So if I simplify the square root of 7 over 64, that would be the square root of 7 over 8. Here's a cube root. I can use the quotient property to say the cube root of 8 over the cube root of 27. And you can actually put this in the calculator and it does it for you using the cube root button. So that would give me 2 over 3. If you look for the button on your calculator, that is the exponent button. Above it is the root button. So in order to take a root that's not a square root, if you press Shift, exponent button, you will be allowed to do that. And we'll practice that some more in class. Last example. If I want to simplify the fourth root of x to the 8th power over the fourth root of 16, I would use the quotient property and say the fourth root of x to the 8th power over the fourth root of 16. Now remember, you can't put variables in the calculator. So let's rewrite this in exponential form. So this would give me x to the 8 over 4 over 16 to the 1/4 power, which we can put in the calculator. 8 over 4 reduces to be 2. And if you put 16 to the 1/4 power in your calculator, it will tell you that it's equal to 2. So we're going to work on these some more in class today. Good luck.